Forthrightness. I want to say it as it is. I want to be able to look at your face and tell you the truth. Speak truth to power. Speak truth which is eternal and which is immutable all the time. I believe that the best politics is doing the right thing. If you speak the expediency, a few years later, it becomes a lie. But if you speak the truth, for all time, it remains the truth. So I want to represent a better generation of politicians in Nigeria. I want to be seen as, perhaps, I don't want to use the word role model, but I want to be seen as exemplary so that those who aspire for public office can use me as a yardstick. I may not necessarily be right all the time, but more often than not, if you stand by the truth, you would never fail. And if you fail in the cause of pursuing the truth, then it's a righteous failure. If you succeed in pursuing the expediency, it's ephemeral, it won't last. Democracy is the first threat. And that's why folks take money to vote. Because democracy cannot. See, there are certain things that are required for a thriving democracy. One, education. Two, a vibrant and expansive middle class, which is almost non-existent in Nigeria. The so-called middle class is at the ebb, right? Tottering towards the poor. And three, strong institutions. Which one? We don't have. We don't have strong institutions. We have a non-existent middle class. Literacy is very low. So we are pretending to be democratic. We are not democratic. We are not democratic. And that's why there's a certain arrogance at the executive level. At the executive level, the governor, who is the only prosperous one, feels he's Bruce Almighty. He can do as he pleases. Okay? Because everybody's begging. So after a while, he feels that everybody needs me. But where you have a vibrant middle class and expansive, these are people that don't need the government to survive. They're doing one thing or the other. They are the ones that can tell the government you are wrong. They can speak truth to power, right? But you don't have that. Everybody's beggarly. The challenge they face is a lack of opportunity. Our country has shut them out of vast opportunities. They are more worldly, more exposed, but doubly frustrated. The average youth cannot go to a bank and borrow money because the conditions are not encouraging. You can't borrow money and pay 30% interest rate and hope to succeed. The business environment is very frustrating, okay? So only the few succeeding businesses thrive. Look, recently, a company in Agbara Estate, Procter & Gamble, set up a $300 million factory. Now they have shut down. Part of the problem is the banking industry, the sort of interest rates that are being charged and all that. So we have all this migration you're talking about, Nigerians migrating to other countries, both the literate and the illiterate, because of a severe lack of opportunity in our nation. So the frustration most young people have, they don't have opportunity. Even the ones that are well educated and exposed, that have the best education in the world, they come in here, they cannot fulfill. Even if they want to be enterprising, they go to the banks, the conditions are such that they can't do anything. Look, I know a certain lady who wants to set up a food chip factory, maybe I think it's plantain chips and all that. Small thing, 10 million. She did her study. She's very exposed. She's an auditor. She did her study. At 30% interest rate, overheads another 50%. The investment is about 10 million. That's about 80 million in the first year. She can't. 8 million in the first year. You can't borrow 10 million and the first year you're paying off 8 million. That means you must have generated enough revenue to say it's not possible. And there are thousands and thousands of people like that. And each person that goes, sets up an enterprise will employ at least 4, 5, 6 other people and take them out of the poverty bracket. But we're frustrating them. The banks are frustrated. Do you know how many businesses have gone under because of the banks? You speak to them in AMCON. People don't go and borrow money because they want to be frivolous. They want to do something. You must have affordable credit. The government must encourage it. You can't allow people. It's absurd. You're a doctor. You borrow money, you set up a hospital. You have clients, they come in. How much are you going to charge them, right, to be able to pay interest on the facility? You still got to run a generator, right, because power is epileptic. Okay? You're going to provide your own water because the public water supply is not there. So you have a borehole. Because it's a hospital, you've got to treat that borehole. Okay? You have staff to pay. Some of them live so far away because they cannot afford any housing around the hospital facility. The problems are too many. At the end of the day, the doctor packs himself and runs over to Europe or America or some other country, right? Whose loss is it? In totality, the loss is ours. 10% of the medical practitioners in the United Kingdom are Nigerians who studied in Nigeria. 10%. We have over 250,000 medical practitioners in North America. It's frightening. The UK, 10%. I'm not talking of some third world or country. I'm talking about the United Kingdom, 10% of the medical personnel. And there are many more still leaving. All this migration and all that, what are we doing? People migrate because of a lack of opportunity where they're coming from. So the problem is, that's all. I mean, I cannot guarantee your success, but I should be able to afford you opportunity. We've been together since I was 18 years old. So that's about almost 40 years now. So she knows me in and out. I know her. She'll always tell me the truth because she's a stakeholder in my success. You interact with a lot of people. And so building up on that has been the lifestyle she's known me for from when we first met. And she's, even though she's not as outwardly as I am, but she's managed to cope with it, adjust as is required. And while she's not an introvert, but she's also not an extrovert, but she's a careful balance between. So she'll play whatever role she has to play. One of the things that I may be remembered for is a carnival in Calabar. Truth is, I didn't start it, she started it. I didn't start it. In fact, when she wanted to start it, I was a bit apprehensive and reticent about it. But she went ahead because she felt that we needed to create a forum where everyone can mix with anyone. And it worked out perfectly, and that's what the carnival is all about. It's quite varied. My band, I have a band, a 9-piece band. And we play all sorts of things, from jazz to high life to rhythm and blues. I like the oldies. I'm trapped in a time frame between the 70s and mid-80s, I admit. So a lot of the music I enjoy are within that period because those are my impressionable years. So the music you hear still rings in your ears. So I like the Bob Marleys, I like the Temptations, I like Aretha Franklin, I like Marvin Gaye, I like Fela, I like some High Life, I like Rex Lawson, I like David Sambone, I like Al Jarreau, Al Coltrane. That's the music I grew up with. And so it's etched in my subconscious, okay? The music of latter years, I don't really understand. I can't, for instance, as musically inclined as I am, I can't tell you the difference between Wizkid and Davido and these people. I don't know. They all sound alike to me, right? There's a certain beat to them, but I must admit it's the music of another generation. But I have to respect what others are doing too. That's live and let live. Today they have rap. Rap in my time was telling a story. Rap in this time, talking about killing, about this, about that, is beyond me. I don't get it.